Good morning, everybody. Natalie coming to live. Spirit and coffee. Got coffee here. Cheers to you. This is a eggnog coffee. Okay, eggnog. So it's actually pretty darn good. I'm liking it a little bit. I'm like usually don't like flavored stuff, but it's actually pretty good. If you are on Facebook and I don't say good morning, please, 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 please tell me good morning because I love saying good morning to you guys. Okay, there. So I said it. Please say good morning. Cheers, cheers, cheers. So now we've started this trend I've noticed where we're now instead of saying Merry Christmas Eve, we're saying Merry Christmas Eve. 2-3 days before, so that's fine. So Merry Christmas Eve. I hope that you guys are going to have a fantastic Christmas Eve. Or is it Christmas Eve? No, it's Christmas Eve. I'm alive. I'm funny. It's Christmas Eve. Yesterday, people were saying Merry Christmas Eve. Girlfriend, catch up with the times. Good morning, whoever just got on Podbean. So it's a Merry Christmas Eve. And for those of you who celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas Eve. For those who don't celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas Eve. And lots of blessings to you and your family, of course. Okay, so I'm gonna continue on the this book, which is again the Healing Through the Dark Emotions, the Wisdom of Grief, Fear, and Despair. And it's such an amazing book. And we've been talking about working through the dark emotional states of being. And I think it's timely. I think it's perfect. I think, we've had a lot of stuff happening in the year, and now we're stepping into a whole new foundation. And there's nothing better than to really work with the dark emotions so that you can step into a new, fresh way of existence, right? Working with these dark emotions so that you can create your world. And by the way, every time I wear one of these, I do it in honor of my friend Lisa, who's teaching me to be a little bit more graceful. Okay, so there you go. So it is with the emotions that make us feel vulnerable, grief, despair, and despair. These dark emotions are in-body energies mediated by beliefs we have gathered from culture of family, society, and society around us. Their purpose is not to make us miserable, drive us crazy, or shame, weaken, or defeat us, but to teach us about ourselves, others, the world, to be open to our hearts, to compassion, to help us heal and change our lives. They bring us information and supply us with energy, the raw material of spiritual empowerment and transformation. When we know how to listen to them, we can ride the energy like a wave with awareness as our protection. Emotional energy flows and a hidden doorway in the heart opens. Something shifts. A transmutation occurs of movement through pain to spiritual power. Wow, that's a lot. That's awesome. I hope people get on here. I hope people listen to this, really, honestly. When we listen to them, we can ride their energy. I like that. It's about riding the wave, right? It's not about hiding under the wave. You would drown, right? Or trying to escape the wave. It's rather riding the wave. You can ride the waves of the dark emotions. So when you do that, like a wave with awareness of our protection, emotional energy flows and a hidden doorway in the heart opens. When we ride the wave, we open up our heart to new ways of experiencing the world. That's it. It's new experiences for you. It's opening up your heart to the new experiences. Good morning, NH, or I don't know what that is. Good morning. Merry Christmas Eve. So, and then something shifts, right? When we open up the dark emotions and we ride the wave and we open up our heart, something shifts within us. There's a shift in our energy, in our vibe, in our experience, in the way that we are engaging in the world. A transmutation occurs. This is part of spiritual alchemy, a movement through pain to spiritual power. I love that. And that's what it is. It's moving through the dark emotions into your spiritual power so that you come out on the other end as a spiritual warrior, as the spiritual power that you harness within you. Hi, PBG. This is emotional alchemy, a process by which something ordinary is transmuted into something very precious. You have the alchemy within you. Good morning, Rick. The alchemy is within you, right? Now, people think alchemy is, led into base metals, into gold and all that. That is not what it is. Spiritual alchemy is the transmutation of the soul into pure light. It's allowing ourselves to be enlightened. It's allowing ourselves to heal through the trying times. Because honestly, let's think about it. How much is gold worth if you're not feeling good? If you're laying there, right, on your deathbed and you have a pile of gold, but you never found the gold within you, what good does that gold do you? Nothing, really. It's just a material. You were gifted this golden body, this body that allows you to move through the world, that allows you to experience life, that allows you to engage life. Right? And the richness of the experience that we get to have in life. That is the gold. The gold is how do we engage it? We've been gifted this opportunity to have a body. And I think people just go day to day not really thinking about it, right? It's just a normal thing. Like, yeah, I have a body and what? But the gift of having a body and the gift of having consciousness and the gift of being able to be a thinker is beautiful. If you use it, if you utilize it, right? If you're able to shift the energy into gold, it's within you. But typically what we do is we say, oh, life sucks, this, that, the other. We forget the beauty of our own vessel, our own ship. We have a whole ship that we get to maneuver around this world. Thanks, Rick. So again, the gold, the transmutation, the alchemy center that is within you. You are the transmutation center. You transmute basic life into something beautiful, right? We are the ones who give meaning. We give the meaning to life, not life gives the meaning to us. We experience the richness of life through our experiences, through who we are internally. So the alchemic process, right? And and I've talked about this before, is that when they say, oh, they came up with it because it was a spiritual journey, a spiritual path, an understanding of walking through the darkness, right? Walking through the darkness to find the light. And the darkness has some very valuable things. Some very, very, the hidden gems are within there, right? We go into caves to mine what? To mine diamonds and rubies and all these beautiful emeralds and, right? The gems exist within you. You're the crystal. You're the gold. You're the beauty. And you have to dig deep within the subconscious mind to pull out and extract, right? So it's coal, and that's why they say, well, pressure and coal. So we look at it from, even if we looked at the alchemic process from a diamond, right? A diamond absorbs the light, right? I mean, a coal absorbs the light. A diamond reflects the light. So we have to be under extreme pressure. We're in the darkness, and when we're in the darkness and we're under that extreme pressure, when we finally come out, we shine and reflect light rather than absorb it, right? We're reflecting it out. That's when we share our gifts with the world and we color the world with our rainbow. Boom. Here you go. Here's my rainbow. And I've showed you guys the model that depicts what I'm talking about in terms of the fact that we are even like a crystal, right? That the light can move through us so that we can paint the rainbow of our life across the world. But that starts within you and digging deep into those dark emotions. You can't deny them. You can if you choose. Don't get me wrong. You can choose to try to deny them, but they're going to show up in some way. If you hold them in, of course, it's sickness, right? And then or it's broken relationships, or it's treating yourself terribly. Be right back. Okay, Rick. Okay. So let's hear. From the ancient times, the alchemists sought to discover means by which base metals could be transmuted into gold. Through some believe, or though some believe that the early alchemists were actually able to accomplish this, mostly the term has come from a metaphor for a process of spiritual transformation. Absolutely. And that is exactly where it came from. It came from if you looked, there's different ways to look at it. Even the Kabbalah itself has remnants of the alchemic process. There's, if you looked at the tarot deck, it tells you exactly what the transmutation process is spiritually. So we have all these tools. It's nothing new. Like I've said before, everything that anybody's teaching you, anything that we think it's all new information. Good morning, Katrina. Good morning, Alicia. It's not new. It's not new information. This information has been around for years. Good morning, Mo. The information has been available to everybody, right? But then it's fragmented. And it's funny because this morning I got this video on my phone. It like shows up, and you guys know that I'm in a consciousness master's course for consciousness. I'm getting my master's in consciousness transformative studies. And one of the theories that we look at is integral theory. And it came up, and they were like talking about integral theory and talking about how we can't take a fragmented approach to life. And that's what the postmodern, modern era offered us, was fragments and a duality. And I have been trying to communicate and express that, yes, we need to understand where we've come from so that we can bridge the gap and so that we can bring it to wholeness. And part of that is that integral is just one of the theories, right? We also have living systems. The living systems theory is probably one of my favorite because it takes into account natural law and how natural law unfolds into the world. But the process of alchemy, the spiritual process of alchemy, based in natural law, not chemistry. Chemistry is a man-made thing. We have taken what we've seen, right? So we've looked at, good morning, fair God. So we've taken a look at the way the elements work in nature, and then we've sort of put it into processing plants, right? And we've said, oh, we're going to try to be above nature. You can't be above nature. Nature is God's law. We didn't create the law of nature. Nature's law was already in existence. It was here when we got here, and we're a part of that. Now we co-create, right? We can co-create, and that process is sort of where chemistry arose, because we were looking at our spiritual transmutation. How do I transcend the spirit into pure light? How do I connect to the divine? How do I myself become a divine being? And it got bastardized, of course, because the material world offers different things, right? When we start to look at the material world, we start to say, ooh, can I control this? Can I control that? It's a false control, of course, because you can't control everything. Even if, let's say, these agendas that people say they have, well, they want a one world and order and all this stuff. Is it possible? Well, no, it can't be possible. No two people are going to see life the same exact way. And no one person can rise to full power, right? It would be a group of individuals who kind of agree on same principles and concepts, right? And that's when I went into dispensationalism, because dispensationalism sort of shows how the administration, or God's administration, has been played out through human, how we've sort of played out God's story, right? We're like, oh, okay, here's what we think God thinks we should do. We should have a government, which in essence says mind control, because that's what government means. Control the mind. Govern, control, mental, mind, control the mind, right? But then funny tricks started to happen, right? And that's the thing with with human beings, right? Is that our ego sometimes overcomes our spiritual integrity. And we start to think, ooh, I can have this and I can have that. And it starts to grow. And it consumes, it's consumption, right? Now, here's the deal. Is it right, wrong, good, or bad? No. But looking at yourself, right, and understanding where you stand in your spiritual alchemic process, or what dark emotions you're working with. This is a powerful thing, especially when you're saying, I want to connect to my divine self, my divine purpose, and understanding what that is, peeling back the layers. It takes time. It doesn't just happen overnight. I'm working with someone right now. Good morning, Andrea. So working with an individual right now who is, I said, you know, who are you? What is it that you want to create? What is your divine purpose? Do you have a divine purpose? Do you know what that is? What legacy do you want to leave behind? And oftentimes people can't get there because they're so hung up on the fear and the grief and the despair, and they don't know how to overcome this, that they're stuck in a story of the past, or they're stuck in the story of the future because of the fear, the unknown of the future. So they're trying to control future outcomes. So there's a balance, right? I'm not saying don't plan for the future, but I'm saying sometimes the plan doesn't come out the way you think it's going to come out. And that's what another friend of I were talking about was, the fact that she plans, and she's like, my plan didn't come out at all like I thought it was going to come out. But at least we have a blueprint, and that's okay, but it's flexible, right? We don't know what the outcome is going to be 100%. We can kind of steer it and understand it, but allowing ourselves to go through the dark emotions gets us closer to our divine purpose. It gets us closer to sort of mapping out the plan for our life. What is my purpose? I know my purpose. What is your purpose? Please put your purpose here if you have it. What is your divine purpose? What legacy do you want to leave behind? What do you want to be known for? What do you want people to say about you? Not that it matters, but it might matter to you in terms of legacy and what you leave behind. So for me, it matters. It matters because I want to be able to leave a legacy of wisdom. That is why I am here. That is what I'm doing. And that is my purpose. My divine purpose is to leave a legacy of wisdom. How am I going to do that? Well, it comes in different forms, not just one thing. And this is one of them. I've been doing this for nearly 3 years. And if people show up, I say the same things over and over. If people show up, they show up. They don't, they don't. It's not, for me, it's not about popularity or being well known, or it's about giving back, right? For the sake of what? My healing and the healing, hopefully, of others. For the sake of leaving a legacy that says, hey, hopefully somebody can relate and say, yeah, I get that. Thank you. It helped me. It pushed me in a direction in my life that I needed to go. Or you said something and it triggered something, or you asked a question and it triggered something in me. And now I'm going on the direction that I feel is good for me. Like that, to support, to guide. But you can't get there unless you go through the dark emotions. It's part of it. The gems and the alchemic process don't happen without it. You can't have it without it. You don't just have happiness. You could say you do, but there's still going to be some level of disease, right? Or discomfort or suffering. But the engagement of the suffering is where mastery comes from, right? That's how do you engage the suffering? How do you engage the pain and the grief and the despair? That's the power right there. Working through that. Okay, good. Our ability to attend, befriend, and mindfully surrender to them. Oh, let me read this again. In the alchemy of dark emotions, the feeling we resist most are the laden ore with which we begin. Our ability to attend, befriend, and mindfully surrender to them is the means by which this led to I can't read. Mindfully surrender to them is the same means by which this led is alchemized to the gold of spiritual wisdom. I love that. To the lead from lead to the by which lead is alchemized to the gold of spiritual wisdom. So through the transmutation, the coagulation, if you looked at spiritual alchemy, if you even looked at alchemy, there's a process to it. And it's under extreme fire, right? And pressure that these things start to transmute. This is not something that has just been made up. It's something that nature has given to us. We see the process of alchemy happening all the time naturally. And we literally have applied it to the soul itself to support us, right? So that we can gain spiritual wisdom, so that we can connect to our divine purpose again and again and again. Say the same thing. Okay, finding the power of the sacred, not despite suffering, but in the midst of it. This is the alchemy of dark emotions. Through this alchemy, grief moves us from sorrow to what we've lost to gratitude for what remains. Fear of life's fragility is transformed to the joy of living fully with openness. And even despair becomes the ground of resilient faith, not just opiate for our pain. And even despair becomes a ground for resilient faith. Okay, despair itself. Because people will look at despair and grief and they will say, why? But if you looked at it from a place of, wow, what's available when I go through it? What's on the other end is beautiful, I promise you. If you get through it, you find your gold, you find your gem. That's the way spiritual alchemy works. Not just the opiate for your pain, but profound commitment to life as it is. Your life exactly as it contains just what is needed for your own journey of healing through dark emotions. It starts with learning to listen to your heart. So the heart is the transmutation center, right? It's at the center, it's at the core, it brings us back down. I can tell you that I myself got lost in the program, and you probably maybe don't understand, maybe you understand what I'm saying or don't. But as the observer, the witness, or the context of a situation where I literally was trying to get back into the state of mind of this physical earth. But there was this sort of trying to understand how to do it, and it was through the heart, because the heart is the transmutation center. It connects the soul and the body. Once our heart and our soul are connected, right? Once our stellar body, or the energy from the cosmos, or the energy that's coming within us, right? The force, whatever you want to call it, however you describe it, right? It could be standing in the sun. That sun is radiating an energy, okay? And if you want to get scientific, we can get scientific. But there's energy that is coming into your force field. That energy comes in, and your heart is the transmutation of that energy. And also internally, if you looked at the chakra systems and how the energy from the body is moved through the body, it moves up. And the heart, right? The heart pumps all the blood, all the life force into the body, right? It's just constantly, the heart is an amazing thing. Talked about this before. Like, I don't know how people can't believe in a higher power because of the heart itself. Just the heart, it pumps. Like, how many times does it pump? We don't ask it to, it just does it, right? But it's pumping the life force into us, the blood that purifies us, that nurtures our veins, that goes throughout the body, the entire system. And so that heart itself transmutes the energy that we receive from the internal and the external. And it allows us to shift the energy within our bodies and open up. It's very hard. Some people who are afraid of surrendering to open their heart center up and open their arms to receive. But it's the transmutation center, but it's also the the last step before we use our vocal cords to describe the experience we're having. So if you moved up the body from the heart, it goes to the throat. And the throat is our ability to communicate what the heart is saying, what our stomach is saying, right? It moves up and out. And when we receive energy, it goes through the throat into the heart, then into the gut. So it's the transmutation center. It's the connection between, hey, Doreen, Merry Christmas. How are you? I'm so glad to see you on here. It's been a while. The transmutation center between the cosmic divine self and the actual physical self, and it connects. So when they say follow your heart, that's what it means. So expose yourself, open yourself up, and allow it to come in. Like so all of this, the Saturn and the Jupiter and the connection, and it was in the sky. And so I just opened my heart to receive the energy from those planets, and just send me your love and your guidance, and opening up my heart center, right, to receive. And then what does my heart tell me? Right? Love, kindness, compassion, joy, connection to people, forgiveness. Now, my brain is a different thing. Sometimes you let the brain lead, and that ego will step in there. And you got the little, angel and devil on your shoulder, and you have the little devil saying, "Wah, wah, 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 wah," and you have the little angel saying, "No, but yeah." So the mind can take over. So you've got to ask yourself, what's talking here? Is the mind talking? Is the heart talking? Is the gut talking? Which one? Who's communicating right now? When people say they don't have multiple personalities, they are lying to you, because sometimes it'll be the heart talking, sometimes it'll be the gut, and sometimes it'll be the brain. And you got to know, you got to say, which one is talking here? Someone is hungry, they're hangry, right? They become hangry, or they become silent, or who's talking? The stomach, right? But if we're in heartache and sadness and despair, who's talking? The heart, right? Or if we come like, I'm better than them, blah, blah, that's who's talking? The mind. So ask yourself, what part of the body is talking here, right? What part of the body is going to support me through this? If it's sadness, and the heart, drop into the heart. The heart will transmute the energy into love, into forgiveness. The stomach ain't going to do that. And the mind will wander. But the heart is the transmutation center of the energy, the connection between the two. And it's the connection it's the center of the mind, the third eye, and the stomach too. So it's the connection between the two. It transmutes the energy here. You could see it like coming from up the stomach, down the head, into the heart, and then radiate. Okay. Plus, our heart can extend for miles out. The energy of our heart just pulsates all the way out and big to the other side of the cosmos. All right. So there you have it. So I hope it's helpful. Happy Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas Eve. And I will definitely be on here tomorrow, because, of course, I'm going to be on here for you guys, because I love you guys. So there you go. So have a great day. Love you guys so much. If I didn't say good morning to you on Facebook, it's not because I don't see you. It's not showing me who's on here, literally. I don't know why. But please say good morning to me, Ever. But I love you guys. Have a great day, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.